All right, good evening, everybody. Today is February the 9th, 2023, so I've got a little announcement for you guys. I now have all but last week's conference calls uploaded onto YouTube. It was quite the project, but so all of our conference calls with Chris are now on YouTube. You can check it out. I'll be finishing up the other call probably within let's see, the last week's and this week's call probably within the next few days. I like to spread them out a little bit. So by next week this time, we'll be all caught up, and I'll be a little more on top of it when we do conference calls. So if we do a call like tonight, for example, it'll probably be the next day before I get it up. So you can share that with people if you want to. And if you have a question for Chris, you can hit *6 on your phone, and we've already got a number of people that are lined up. You know what? I had people. I think we had some people from last.
Yeah, I think it was like
last week, which I told them to email me 15 minutes before we start so that I can find them. So, and nobody's done that. So before we get to questions, Chris, do you have anything that you'd like to, any kind of lesson?
Yeah, briefly.
Yeah, go for it.
Briefly, I spoke with 4 different individuals who, when I talked to this agent, he said, I'm going to have people call you or text. I said, have them text me the number. Give them my phone number and then have them text me. And I gave him a 4-digit PIN for them to put into the text message so that I could, answer the call. And then put these folks into my contact list. I've spoken with 4 people, and I've got a crap load of case law for this IRS hearing coming up, this tax court hearing coming up. So I'm going to be, over the next 3 weeks, I'm going to be crazy busy. I don't know. I kind of considered maybe doing the nightly calls for the next 3 weeks so I can concentrate more time. I'm dealing with dry socket. It's gotten a lot better. So I was running a fever a couple of days ago. I talked to I didn't talk to him. He sent me a text message, and he said there's 24 people. The Treasury has 24 people in the queue for this class, and he said as soon as at first they were wanting me to wait until the argument was over and just the 6th of April is the hearing. But they kind of stepped it up. He said, look, as soon as you can submit the argument into the case, that we're going to start. I'm going to start the class. The classes are going to start out, it's probably going to be about 5 weeks of class and then 2 weeks of paperwork. The last week being finishing up, and then maybe the last couple of days, 2 or 3 days of that second week of paperwork. It'll be actually filling the paperwork out, making sure it's filled out properly. Once I do that, so right now that it's looking like 7 weeks to go from beginning to start. But after I've done this a few times, I'm going to refine this, the process of it, and that'll also depend on how quick people keep up with it. Some of these I haven't got a list of the 24 yet, or their contact information, but there's a strong possibility it's going to be people that are actually have came through me instead of them. So there may be people in the sound of my voice that may be approached and asked if you want to do this, because it's people that they think are going to be the most productive and the most profitable. They're also considering, I'm sure they're considering folks that they would like for me to bring into the foundation. I don't know, though. I'm not making any promises with that yet. I'd have to see how they are with the class. But other than that, the next 3 weeks are friggin' going to be crazy. I'm probably going to submit a case argument that's going to have more case law in it than they've ever seen. My argument already is up to 38 pages, and I've started correlating the argument that I'm perceiving they want me to argue. So, but that's going to be probably 2 weeks in itself. I'm hoping to finish up this week and next week, getting all the information gathered up, and then I'll break it down into my argument so that I can submit it by the 1st of March. 1st of March, I have to have it post-dated. So, yeah, it's probably going to cost a little bit to send it certified mail. It's going to be huge. I think Lavely said he sent one off certified mail, and he had 32 pages, and almost $20. So. Well, this one's probably a little bit more than that, but that's okay. It's probably going to take the better part of a day to argue this. So I'm hoping we can get it all done. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put so much stuff in there. This attorney that's arguing for the IRS is going to look like an idiot because I already know. I'm already familiar with how their argument's going to be. So that's what's going on with that. And if you guys want to jump into Q&A, we can get that and maybe get more folks done. I may not talk a whole lot, give a lot, because I'm still dealing with a pretty sore mouth. I've never had this much trouble, Tad, out of the teeth being pulled. I've never had dry socket. Really? I've only got one molar left and one premolar. All the rest of them are gone. I've had wisdom teeth pulled, but didn't give me this much trouble. So yeah, I'm just glad they're gone, and it's starting to get a little bit better. But it is kind of quite sore. So.
I'm sorry, Chris.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll get through it, man. It's what happens. If I can get through, falling off a cliff and shattering my ankles and having both of my knees tore out and replaced, and going through this thing with my back, I'm sure these teeth ain't gonna be much trouble in it. I'm just anxious. I'm ready to get the new teeth in and eat a steak. That's what I want. I haven't been able to eat a steak in years. So.
All right. Let's see here. We'll just go right down the line. 678 area code. Go ahead.
Oh, I had to unmute myself. I'm surprised I'm the first in the queue.
Well, there you go.
This is the mouthy sailor, Chris.
Yeah.
Oh, hey.
I wanted to know how you doing.
I'm doing good. I'm doing good, y'all. This is mouthy sailor.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. We did a 3-way.
So I have a question for you.
Lavely there today. Yeah, what's up, man?
Yeah. So I'm getting a whole lot of calls that folks are referring soliciting my services and not informing me about it, and I was wondering if that's ever happened to you and what you do about it.
Yeah, it's happened to me a bunch of times, and they do it everywhere. It's been done everywhere, YouTube and Telegram and emails, and what's happened to me is I don't accept money. I don't take donations. So that's usually what I tell folks, but it happens constantly. You and your situation, that's your baby, my friend. You take whatever you think is fit. When it comes to that, I'm kind of like a Southern Baptist preacher. Some won't accept any pay at all. Some want paid. It's just all in how you interpret Paul. Yeah, man. If you're ready to do that, then I would suggest yes. Take the money. You're worth your keep. You guys that are doing what you're doing are right on the cusp of something grand. And it may even, what you guys are doing may even take a lot of slack out of what I'm doing. And all in all, by what I do and what you do, we can sure help a lot more people.
Well, that's what I want to do, but you get to a point where you get wore thin, and I wasn't really referring to, soliciting for upkeep or anything like that. I'm not asking for donations. If people, feel that they want to bless the cause, I'm not going to reject it, but I'm not going to ask for it either. But I'm getting texts and phone calls from folks I've never heard of and that are showing up on the Telegram channels, and it's like I'm starting to get spread real thin, and so that's mostly what I was referring to.
So
yeah, you can't do that. You're going to have to pick and choose. You may have to reject some folks. You can't let yourself get, lose sight of the horizon. You're going to have to pick and choose what, it may not seem fair to some, but you're going to have to do that. You cannot burn yourself out, and it's easy to do it.
So real quick, I've got a question. I'm kind of lost here. Mouthy Sailor, what is it that you're doing?
Around the beginning of October, we noticed a guy posting some successes that he had on Chris Hauser study group.
Okay. And
because I had already seen one of the trust gurus talk about it, when he showed it, it was like it rang a bell. And so I started paying a little attention to what he was doing. I ordered a printer and special font and started making instruments.
Okay.
And so I studied the, UCC about what a negotiable instrument is, UC 3-104, whatever. And I have a copy of Cheeseman's business law book and read chapter 22 several times on what an instrument is, what's the difference between a draft, a check, a promissory note, and a certificate of deposit. And, everything we're doing is lawful. And although there have been some folks that have found themselves on the, having to deal with legal things because of it. And so, number one, I want to be able to help people avoid that kind of trouble, but also the ones that have found themselves there, how to navigate through the commercial waters, so to speak.
Okay.
Yeah. So you've had, what would you say your percentage of success to complications ratio is?
It's actually small, Chris. It's only been one or two, and the one that occurred in Texas was, hey, don't do this. The one that occurred in Florida, the Florida sheriffs and law enforcement down there, it's a different mindset than a lot of the rest of the country, and they're actually what should be, because it involves the Treasury, should be heard in a different venue than what they're trying to. So they're definitely trying to capitalize on some bonds there, and they're trying to keep it in-house instead of letting the Secret Service or the U.S. Marshals deal with it. They're trying to, monetize it by creating bonds on the man. And so that's not a good thing, because they, and when I say they, I'm talking about these Florida entities, could find themselves in trouble by going outside their territorial jurisdiction and attempting to monetize something that's none of their business.
Yeah.
And they violated 18 U.S.C. 241 and 242 in the process. So,
yeah, that's kind of what happened to us. Our situation, if it was going to be any kind of crime, it should have been a federal white-collar thing.
Right.
They should have sent, if they were going to send us anywhere, they should have sent us to Club Fed.
Right.
But they didn't. And, one of the guys they did, he wasn't around when we got picked up. He was up in Michigan with his father, who has Alzheimer's. A lot of the guys that did what we did in East Tennessee were professional floor cleaners, industrial and residential type. They drove around with the steam cleaner vans and stuff. And he was down here doing that. So he was up in Michigan when the sting went down. And his situation was, he was delinquent on $150,000 in, so-called tax debt owed to the federal government. Well, he didn't have the money to handle it, so Gary Cooper, he helped him do the conditional acceptance on two federal judges and the IRS. So he was the only person in our crew that actually did it to federal, entities like that. Well, when they got us, they waited on him, and then the feds picked him up, and they had confiscated, before he did this, before he did the conditional acceptance, they confiscated 8 classic cars that he owned. Classic and hot rod type stuff. And they sold them at auction, but once he hit them with the conditional acceptance, they brought 3 of them back that didn't sell and tried to get him to take them back. And he said, no, you've bought those. You're paying for those. So they went after him, and then when they finally got him, a few months after they got us, they locked him up, and then they released him on bond. And over about a year and a half, they got him to plea out to 30 months. He did 15, and then he was on federal parole for the other 15. But he accepted that and copped a plea. Would it have been different if he'd have been with us in county jail? Probably, because this guy understood what it was we were doing. And not well enough to fight it on his own. No, we had the support of each other. But that was the only Fed guy, the only guy with the Fed issue. And that's what should have happened with us. If there was any crime that was committed, because you got to remember, when you do these conditional acceptances, you're not filing anything. We didn't file any liens in the state of Tennessee, even the corporate state of Tennessee. The liens were filed by the Treasury. The Treasury did it. And like I was saying today, these people that are doing the 1099As, they are beneficiaries. The ones who are actually filing are the trustees. And everybody, there has been a handful of people that have gotten frivolous filings, but they're sending them to the beneficiaries, not the trustees. You see what I'm saying? So everybody can fight. Anyone can fight at this. If you do what I do or what we do and end up getting a frivolous filing, remember you're the beneficiary and you never filed anything. The Janet Yellen actually filed. That's what you got to remember, and that's part of the case. What we're going to win my case on. I didn't file anything. How can you say I filed a frivolous filing? I didn't file it. I got proof. I got proof that Jacob Lew filed it. Read the contract. The contract says Jacob Lew is going to file them. The contract says the property belongs to Jacob Lew, the Secretary of the Treasury. But the problem is going to be, you all, when people do this, if they don't understand what it is that they've done and who they are, that's why I say it's very important to understand trust law and the positions in it. Because if you do this and you don't act like a beneficiary, you start making decisions, they're going to get you. Because you got to remember, folks, that they're going to get you when you do it right. Like Mouthy Sailor saying right here. They're getting them down there, and they did it right. They did it right. But the wrong people are trying to get them. And that's happening. A lot of the people that are doing the remittance coupons, they're not getting them back. They are getting monetized and used. We just got to figure out how to make sure that they do it on our behalf.
All right.
But yeah, what you're doing, keep it up, bro.
Well, we're making new discoveries every day, so.
Yeah, you guys are probably you and another individual is doing this, and is being successful. I know another gal that's doing something similar. She's not doing the magnetic ink and stuff like that, but she's making instruments that are paying out. You three that are doing these processes are having way more success than what's happening with the 1099A. And that they may be totally successful too, but they're more time consuming. It takes longer, where you guys are getting, like with the W-4. There's quite a few folks that are getting responses to the W-4 within a month, 6 weeks. So that's what we want to do. We want to keep having stuff like, we want you guys to, stay straight and keep doing what you're doing. But if I were you, I would say, look, man, I'm swamped right now. I can't handle any more clients, or I can't handle any more patriots, or whatever it is you want to call them, comrades. I can't handle any more right now. You may find that you're going to have to hire people to help you do this if it gets that big.
Well, yeah. All right, so I just want to make one comment about the success. Thomas Edison found 10,000 ways that a light bulb would not work. So were all 10,000 of those a failure? No, not really. But and I don't anticipate we're going to have 10,000 failures. But what I am saying is that some of the things that we thought were successes are getting reversed. But we're still plugging away and doing things, tweaking here and there, and so hopefully by the middle of next week we'll see if our little tweaks actually worked. So anyway, I have nothing else. Thank you for your time, Chris.
Yeah, they could still be working, but now you've got corruption involved, like what I'm hearing is coming out of Florida. These finance companies, maybe what you got is successful. It's just that now you're going to have to deal with, more of these financial institutions are more corrupt than they're honest. And if they see that, well, we can make a lot of money off this. Look at this. We can, that's how they are. They're evil. They just need to be taught that, look, why don't you just cut your profits and run? It's easier doing it that way. So, yeah, man. Yeah, keep up the good work.
All right. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir, Tad. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, too. All right. 910 area code. Go ahead.
Hey there. Can you hear me?
Yes. Go ahead.
Yay. Hi there, Tad. Hi there, Chris. Wow. So I just want to say hi to Mouthy Sailor, and my name is May. It's been a minute since I've been on your call. I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who is leading the path. Pretty intense. I'm calling with a simple question, and I don't know. I was actually thinking that maybe I could ask someone who, like maybe even Mouthy Sailor or someone who knows this process better. My question is, I'm wanting to tap into my trust, but not me, myself. I would need someone else, my trustee, since I'm the beneficiary, to tap into my trust every month so that I could pay my rent. And I ordered a bunch of IRS forms, and now as of yesterday, they all came in. And I'm trying to remember how I even found out about which forms I should look for. I think you might have talked about it, Chris, at some point. Anyway, that is my want. If I could free up my rent here in Asheville, North Carolina, and that would give me a better life. And I'm on disability, and so I just wanted some help on that. I would definitely then, provide some restitution or at least for advice. So that's why I'm calling.
Yeah, you live in Asheville. That's expensive, man. Asheville's like probably one of the most expensive places to live in. Well, we're in our neck of the woods, and it's become quite the liberal area too. A lot of
the city is trying to launch the 15-minute communities here as per the World Economic Forum's plan, and it's only going to get worse, I think. But I love living where I live, and I'm not planning on moving. So any advice or helpful? I just have I just got a bunch of forms, but I don't want to wind up in jail because because I did something incorrectly.
Nobody wants to. I sure didn't. I mean, I ended up.
I bet you did not.
Sure.
For 3.5 years, how wasn't that?
Yeah, it was 4 days short of 3 years I was locked up. But
yeah,
it's not fun, and I don't blame anybody. Most people wouldn't even go down this path if they thought that there was a slight chance of getting locked up. That's what I'm saying. This isn't a path for somebody who's is fearful of that. But the thing about that is, hang in. As far as using them to pay for your rent, that's something you're going to have to take up with your rental management company or your landlord, or whoever it is.
My landlord has already agreed. He's already agreed that he would sign whatever he would need to sign.
Well, he has to. If you're renting a house and it's owned by a guy who maybe owns the one he lives in and is renting grandma's house out to you, that's perfect. Because you can set up the rent for the course of the lease. You can say, "Look, I'll pay you for the extent of the lease if you're willing to accept it." But what you need to do is learn how to fill out all the paperwork, the OID, right. The 96, the 40B, the 8281, and 8888. You need to learn how to fill all that out for them. If he's going, "Look, I'll sign wherever I need to sign," well, then you need to learn the process of the beneficiary and of the trustee. That way you can help your landlord through this and know it well, because if he's got any questions and you answer him right away, he's going to have more confidence in what it is you're doing. He needs to know that too. Do it for him and then walk him through the process. And this is why you fill this out this way, this form out this way. See, look at the directions here on this particular form. Learn those forms and learn what they're used for. That way you can refer back to it. Then it's not you telling them this. It's the actual IRS that's created the form that says who must file. Or how you have to file. Because they give you directions, every one of them. Tell you what they're for and how to, and direct you how to use them.
Yeah, so you read it off.
There's only a couple of them that you need to have sent to you from the IRS, and that's the OID, the 1099 OID, the 96, and the then the 1099A. The rest of those documents that I said, the 40V, you can print it off. The 92 or the 8281, you can print off.
The 82 what?
8281.
81. Thank you.
And then the 8888. The 8888 is for the direct deposit, and the 8281 is to identify who the trustee is. And that the trustee is the one who's doing the OID, and they're pretty self-explanatory. The 8281, in part 1, you're going to see the. Let's see, what is it? It's the those forms you can print straight off of the internet. Okay.
Okay.
You don't have to. For those, I'm just trying to see if I had the 82. if you look at the 8281, the IRS form, you'll see that it's pretty self-explanatory.
I'll see if I can pull it up.
Part 1 is issuer's information. And the issuer, y'all, when you fill this out, is the all caps name. The issuer's name is the trust. So mine would be all caps Christopher Allen Hauser. And then the issuer's taxpayer identification number would be the Social Security number. Then it's your address. And then below that, it's the name of the representative. Okay? And the representative is whoever the trustee is. That's where their information goes. If you guys have already done these, you can, if you've already done, sent these 1099As, packages in, and you're not getting any answer, you can amend that by sending in, say you've already sent everything but the 8281 in. You can send the 8281 in as an amendment to your filing. And all you have to do for that is fill out the 8281, sign it, and then, or have the trustee will sign it, and then you do a cover letter saying that this is an amendment to your filing. And you can use the Social Security number, and you can use the 20-digit tracking number because you sent all that stuff through certified mail return received, and they'll amend it. We talked to a gal just recently, and I'd explain that to her, that you don't have to fill them all out, all the paperwork out again. You can just amend your filing with the 8281. And that's how simple that would be. Send it certified mail and keep that stuff together. But
so when you said that the other person, I don't know if you met the beneficiary, that would be me, the trustee. Are you saying that the trustee's information goes on line 3A on the 8281?
You're going to see the issuers.
Yes.
You're going to see the issuer's information, and then down there at 3A, you see that it's the name of the representative. That's going to be the trustee.
Oh.
Your trustee's representing.
Gotcha.
That would be your landlord's name.
Okay.
Telephone number is their present
I didn't
address.
I didn't scroll far enough. Okay.
Yeah, if you see that. And part 2 pertains to bonds and annuities and stuff like that, so you don't even need to fill that in. But you can, on 14, you can put the description. The description will be the same as it is on the description of the 1099A.
Now, if I'm not a bank and I fill out the 1099A, or if my trustee does, then does that get us in trouble?
You're going to fill out the 1099A. The trustee is going to be responsible for the rest of the filing.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
And here's by doing this is the worst case scenario, okay? The worst case scenario is you're going to get a letter from the Treasury or the IRS, probably the IRS, and it'll say this is a frivolous filing, don't do this. But very few people are getting that. Very few people are getting it. I haven't even talked to a half a dozen people that have got frivolous filings, and I know thousands of people that have done this. I know one guy that did 1,500 himself as trustee.
Wow.
So, yeah, he's a trustee for 1,500 people. It has more he's waiting to file. He wants to see what's happening with the 1,500 first.
Well, I feel like this is a daunting task. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do this myself.
Just study it. Study it. Watch the videos, and study it.
I've watched almost all of them, I think, but I'll go back and do more.
Yeah, and here's something you might want to consider. Buy it. If you're renting a house and you really like that area, and your landlord's ready to get rid of Granny's house, offer him 10% above or 15% above what it's worth and have him do the paperwork. Then you don't have to do it anymore, and you're living and you got your own house.
Well, that is a possibility.
Or wait around till these other processes slip in, and they're a lot more. They've been tested, and everything's been tested, tried and true, and come back in a year or so when everything's where this is running real smooth, and say, hey, Chris, I need a loan.
Right. Well, I'll keep checking in for sure. Then you can
buy a house. You can buy a real nice house in Nashville.
There you go. Well, I appreciate your time, and thank you so much, Tad, for all. I'm hoping that I may be contacting you in the future too, because I'm doing some credit card things. So if I get a court summons, is that whenever I call you?
Yes.
Okay.
Preferably before that, even.
Well, if you do, then let me know. We'll see what we can do. We're still testing that one out. So
usually when you get a court, it's usually in most cases, it's a third-party debt collector, and you really don't even need to worry about that stuff.
Right.
You don't even need to. I'm not even so sure I'd even respond to that. I watched a video here not too long ago. And there was a woman who was, it was one of these Zoom conference court things. And there was a judge, and there was about 6 windows open there. And one lady, she was a brown woman, about middle-aged, and it had her name down there. I think her name was Cecilia, or Cecilia. And it said, in propria persona, next to her name. It was bracketed right after her name. It said, in pro pre. I'm like, hey, that's kind of what caught my eye. And the judge actually told this woman, the video was about the power of the mute button. And this judge has actually muted this lady. And she's telling this lady, she said, look, if I didn't think that the people that were summoning me to court had the jurisdiction or the power to even hear the case, I wouldn't even show up. That's what she told this lady. She straight come out. She was probably in there going, I'm propria persona, sure jurist, heard something similar to what I've been saying. And went in there and said that, and this lady muted her. And she's trying to prove a point. You're in here, but we got jurisdiction because you came in here. That's why she made the comment. If I didn't think someone had jurisdiction, I wouldn't even go in. And I'm thinking, bingo! Why even go in? They summoned you. Why? Why
that's
even go in?
Okay. And that's
now, they may come back
and look, that's basically the principle that we operate on with this.
Yeah.
So if you do get a summons, let me know, and we'll kind of talk you through it.
Asheville has a committee of safety now. We have settled the Buncombe County land, and we are working towards bringing our government into the knowledge that they need to be listening to us and doing, what we're asking of them or saying that they need to do. And we're going to be we're going to be giving notice to them. So I'm excited about this process, and thank you for all that you've taught me, you guys. Thank you so much.
Right,
yeah,
thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, 760 area code. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm here.
There you go.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead. Yep, go ahead.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Chris. How are you?
Hello.
Listen, on a quick note, good thing for your gums and what you're going through, I'm in the profession that you're dealing with right now, is black seed cumin oil. 1 teaspoon.
Yep.
Swish it around for 2 to 3 minutes and then swallow it. Okay? That'll help tremendously.
Yep. You know that stuff also.
Okay.
You know that stuff also kills black mold.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing, but it really helps with your teeth and gums. Okay, my question is, I'm going to be 62 in October, and I remember you talking about walking into the Social Security office at that point and asking to see the on-ledger and off-ledger. So I was wondering if you could kind of walk me through that.
Well, the trust actually matures at 65. You can take an early retirement at 62.
Okay.
So you really need to be 62 or 65 when you do this. But what you have to do is on your birthday is the best time to do it. Because that's the first day you turn 65. You go into the Social Security office, and they're going to want you to put your Social Security number into the kiosk machine to get a ticket. Right?
Right.
You can't do that. You cannot do that. That's accessing the trust. That's the first time people access the trust after maturity, when they go in there and put the number into the kiosk. What you can say is, look, I'm not going to take a number because I'm the beneficiary and I can't access the number. But I need to speak with one of the counselors, and what they'll do is they'll probably pull you a number, or they'll take you directly to one of the counselors, the next available counselor, and say, this person out here is not told it won't pull a number from the kiosk. They have some reason why they won't. They're going to be curious why. Well, why won't they do that? Well, I don't know. She wouldn't tell me. I can't do that. I'm the beneficiary. He keeps saying he's the beneficiary. They'll actually go get, probably more than likely they will go get the supervisor if they're not busy. But it's always good to be the first one there. The place opens at 8 o'clock in the morning. Be there at 7:30. Be the first in line. And then go in there and say you need to speak with the supervisor. They'll more than likely they'll set you up with one of the social workers at the front, at the windows. You go in there and say, look, I need a private meeting with the supervisor. I need a private meeting with the supervisor. She's busy or he's busy or whatever, then I'll wait. And then go in there and with the Social Security card, okay? Go in there with the Social Security card, and when you see the social worker, show them the card. When you see the supervisor, show them the card. And say, look, I'm here to discuss the maturation of the trust. And they may look at you a little funny at first, because you may have to explain to them what it is that's really going on. Some of them know it, but very few know what it is you're doing until you explain it to them. And then you'll explain it to them. Look, the trust is matures at 65. Okay, now that the trust is matured, the beneficiary has the right to know what happened in the trust. This is why I say learn trust law, because you'll know these things. You'll learn these things. What happens if you say, hey, Google, what happens when a trust matures? Or what is the beneficiary capable of doing when the trust matures? Well, it's going to tell you, one of the things it's going to tell you, that you have a right to an on-ledger and off-ledger account of the trust. So I'm here for an on-ledger. You can even research this stuff and print it out and take it in there with highlighted. Look, it says right here, when the trust matures, I have the right to an on-ledger and off-ledger account of the trust. That's what I'm in here for. I want to know how my trust was used. I want to know who used it, when it was used, and how much it was accessed for. These are the details that you're entitled to. When you do that, they're probably going to flip their wig. Because this doesn't happen too often. If it even happens. This is what I came up with while I was in prison, researching trust law. Well, dang, if this is the case, I can go in there when it matures at 65, and I can say this and that, and they have to do it. They have to do it.
So are you suggesting that I wait till I'm 65? Is that what you would do?
You'll have to, because the trust doesn't mature until then.
Okay.
On your birthday, 8 o'clock in the...
Okay, I got plenty of time then. I misunderstood. I thought it was 62. Have you ever known anybody to do this at 65 and walk out of there like, woohoo?
I know nobody's even considered it until I thought about it in prison, and that's my intentions at 65.
Okay.
I'm going to roll off in there because I can swing it. By then, I'm going to have enough money that I can wait for a fight, because that's what you're going to have.
Right. Okay.
Just think about it this way. Think about it this way, folks. If you go in there and you tell this supervisor, I want an on-ledger and off-ledger account of the trust, that's my right as a beneficiary to have this. And they go, that's true. It is your right. Yes, Mr. Hauser, we'll start working on that today. Here, fill out this form and sign with the beneficiary signature. That's going to authorize us to do this. But you got to realize when you're 65, what that's going to entail. They're going to have to go in and look up every time your Social Security account was activated with a trust action, which is every time someone asks you, in most cases anyway, when someone asks you for the number. How many times have you been asked for your Social Security number? And what's all involved in that? I need the paperwork. They're going to have to roll file boxes, stacked. It's going to be like, here comes UPS to your house with big trucks. It's going to take a while. It'll take a while to do it, even if they're working to do it for you. It may take a little time. We're going to say, hey, it's going to take us some time. We haven't really done this before, but yeah, we get it. We've talked to our lawyers, and they said, you got to do this. That's what I'm saying. This could take some time. If they're going to fight it, now you got to go, up the chain until you get a judge that says, he's right, trust law says this. Social Security, you have to do this. It could take some time. Hey, let's draw this out as long as we can. And this old fart is 65. He'll be dead in 10 years, maybe 15. But let's draw it out. When he's dead, we got him.
Okay.
So that's what you're looking. That's what you're looking forward to, or potentially looking forward to.
Okay. All right. And real quick, you were talking to the woman before me about our 1099As. We did it through the Jarretts. And I remember you coming on one of your calls stating that you believe the reason the Treasury is holding up all of our paperwork, because it'll be going on a year coming up here in the next couple months, is because they didn't file the 8281 form. So is it my understanding they have to file it, correct? We can't because they're our trustee.
Yeah, they'll have to amend.
Do they? Are they aware of this?
Amend all those.
Or did you ever have a conversation with them about it, or no? I remember you saying we were going to.
It's been a little while back.
Were they aware of it? Were they receptive?
Yeah, they are now.
Curious. Okay.
Yeah, they are now.
Okay. Good. So we're
they're aware of it now. They've had a little trouble. Drew was in Nashville about a month ago and trying to argue a case for his daughter and was held in contempt of court. He got 10 days of contempt of court. He was in there about 3 days and they released him. You know, and all he said was he's there as a counselor for his daughter.
Interesting.
They held him in contempt. He opened his mouth and they held him in contempt of court. That's what I'm talking about. These judges do whatever they want to do, whether they have a right to do it or not.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, at least they're aware, so we can get in contact with them.
Yeah, they are.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, that could be a big pain in the butt for them because they got, like I said, they've done this a lot. They've acted as trustees for quite a few people.
There's a boatload of us. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
All right.
Yeah, thanks for being on the call tonight.
657 area code. Go ahead.
Hey there, Chris. This is
there.
Thomas.
What's up? Hey, Thomas.
Hey there,
what's going
Dad.
on, man?
Hey.
I'm sort of confused. Okay, number one, I'd like to also say that in regards to treating your mouth, you want to get some either 40 or 100 parts per million colloidal silver, and that works really, really good to heal up the dry socket.
I never heard of that.
Yeah, it's very good. The other thing of it is that I was just made aware of a guy by the name of Dr. Frank Schellenberger about his research into melatonin. And it appears that melatonin kicks up the body's healing capabilities tremendously. He's prescribing for his clients when they come to his cancer center anywhere from 180 to 300 milligrams of melatonin per day throughout the day. And the response has just been absolutely incredible. So anyway, that's what I wanted to share with you, that colloidal silver and melatonin in regards to your mouth and your health. The next question was...
So they just for sleep anymore, huh?
No, you take it all through the day. No, in fact, you know what I'll do? I'll send you the link to the video. You can watch it. It's about 57 minutes. So the last time that we texted, you had mentioned that you had talked to our other mutual friend. Now, are you stating that before anything can move forward on the establishment of the private international bank, that you have to go through this IRS hearing? I wasn't aware of anything that you were doing like that. What is that? Can you elaborate more on what that is?
Yeah, I sure can. The Treasury is ready to go, but the IRS is making this difficult because they're saying that the frivolous filing, the civil penalties for frivolous filing, I went into like pre-trial or pre-hearing mediation, and with a lady in Arizona, and she was the one that sent me the letter afterwards saying, "Dear non-taxpayer." So, and I was under the impression that they were going to just make these civil penalties disappear. They couldn't, because of the beneficiary accounts that I had my money in, they couldn't freeze or capture those funds. So I guess they figured there wasn't nothing much they could do about it. And I thought it was just settled, but apparently it was just held back, and because of this, if the contracts with the Treasury, the monies that are owed to me from that are what backs the bank, as long as this frivolous filing thing is looming over me, then how can that be as backing for the bank? Is how they're looking at it. But what's happening is I got contacted by the agent, and he said, I know this is a bummer because we want to get this started just as much as you do, but we're going to have to deal with this. And first I was pissed, and then after he explained to me what was happening, I kind of got with the program. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be arguing all kinds of case law and argument about various things in the tax, the IRS tax scheme, like the invalid income tax, and how it's voluntary, and all the stuff about it's United States citizens, not American nationals they're not required to pay taxes, income taxes. If you're paying into income taxes and you're a United States citizen, then you're considered a non-resident alien of the District of Columbia. That's why you're paying taxes. You agree to that when you file things like W-2.
Basically, when you file the first 1040 return, you are electing to become a taxpayer. Now, I have not had any correspondence with the IRS other than they just sent me the notice back regarding my 4506Ts. But I did the revocation of election pursuant to 8 U.S.C. 1101 821 and 6013 G4A back in 2015. I've never heard a word from them. And then when I went to the Social Security Administration and started drawing down on Social Security, she said, "It shows here that you're a non-taxpayer." I go, "That's correct." Showed it on the screen at the office on California that I was a non-taxpayer. So it's an election type of thing that people elect to go into, not knowing the entanglement under, invisible contracts premise, like George Mercier talked about in his book called Invisible Contracts. So, okay.
Yeah, that's what it is people are electing to consider themselves as citizens, and they're not. Because of that, they're trapped into this. It's a deception. It's a grand deception.
It's evidence in the 6331 notice when it says their levy may be. When they send you out the notice about the levy, they conveniently remove paragraph A, which states that levy may be made upon the accrued salary of any officer, employee, or elected official of the United States. So basically what you're doing is you're confessing you're engaged in some type of commercial arrangement or government contract when in fact you're not. And the times that we pulled the master files on people who had criminal cases against them, it showed that they were, money launderers, drug runners, owners of railroads, in the Virgin Islands, heads of mining companies, which, you know, these people never even set foot on those places, those islands and those faraway places, let alone been engaged in any of that type of activity. So, okay, so you're so that you're stating that you're roughly 7 weeks away from being able to take the next step in regards to establishing the private international bank?
Yeah, I have to go through. I've already been accepted and approved, but this court case is stymied me for the time being until it's won. But I'll be, like I said, as soon as I get this argument filed into the docket, then I'm going to start teaching to the first 2,000, and then after that it'll be my turn. You know what I mean? My turn for my people.
So now you're saying that you're going to be training 24 people at the Treasury Department on how to open a private international bank?
No.
Is that
no.
Oh.
There's 24 people, Thomas, that the Treasury has elected to be the first class. Once the first class is over, I elect the second class. And like I said, some of the people in the first class may be people that I would have got into the first bunch of classes.
Okay, so this training that you're saying that the Treasury's going to do is going to be limited to 24 people, 24 people, and it's going to be basically duplicating what you're trying to do, which is establish a private international bank. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's it. And those people, some of those people, Thomas, that are coming out of the first class, I may know some of them. They may be people that I have even considered for the foundation. Or they may be people that I don't even that I've even dealt with. But through the class, I'll get to know these folks, and I'll probably know some of their individual situations of where they're at, and if they are they show themselves quite useful, they may be selected. I'm not sure. I don't know who they are yet. You know what I mean? They don't want to start me on that because they don't want me trying to multitask this case and classes at the same time. So I'm naturally assuming it's going to be about 3 weeks to get this brief together and submit it into the docket. And I've got help. I've got 4 folks already. One of them was, I think he was a disgruntled IRS worker because he was passionate about the information he was sharing, and at times he was angered by what's going on. That kind of led me to believe this guy's probably a disgruntled IRS worker. Who knows what they're doing. What we're going to do, what's going to happen, folks, is here's what's going to happen. Here's what's about to happen. By 2026, there will be no more income tax. Property taxes will probably be erased too. It may take a little time for those because those are in the individual states. But we're going to go to a sales tax, a federal sales tax.
That's the VAT tax, 14%. Yeah, VAT tax, value-added tax, correct.
Yeah, that's what he said. It'd be anywhere from 14 to maybe 16%. The government's going to run on that, and they're going to run on tariffs. A lot of y'all are learning about tariffs from Trump. Trump was hitting hard. You want to sell your crap in our country, you're going to pay. What this is going to do, there's not going to be 80,000 new IRS workers. That's not happening. If you're following what the Republicans are doing, they're not going to fund that. That's one of the first things they're watching. What's going to happen is the IRS is going to be downsized considerably. There's not going to be a need for the huge tax code because the taxes are all going to be voluntary. It's going to go back to a voluntary tax system. You want to buy the Bentley, you're going to pay this. You're going to volunteer to pay it. You're going to volunteer to. What this is going to do is it's going to give the American people the option to not pay a shitload of money out in taxes, or pay a shitload of money out in taxes. It's going to cause a lot of folks to start growing their own food. I know that's what I'll do, because I ain't about, look y'all, if I had $100 million, I would buy an acre and a half of land, maybe 5 or 10, depending on what I wanted to raise as far as livestock is concerned. But I would garden. I would can. I know an old lady who gets a 5-gallon. She buys a 5-gallon bucket of lard. She buys 50-pound bags of flour and meal. Other than that, this lady goes to town once a month. She makes her own bread. She does her own gardening and her canning. That's what you'll do if you don't want to pay out the butt in income taxes.
Okay.
If you decide you want to go to Walmart and buy the stuff, that's what you'll get. But that's something else that's happening too, is the Federal Reserve's about to go bye-bye. If you guys start looking, I know, Thomas, we were talking recently about the TT&L porthole. Yeah. If you do the research on that, you're going to see that the definitions, you can also look in new stuff that's happening in the Treasury and see that the definitions, the Federal Reserve is being redefined. And if you look at what's happening, how the definitions are being redefined, you're going to see that the Federal Reserve is being neutered. Mm-hmm. They're losing their power. The People's Bank is taking back the money. The Federal Reserve doesn't have control over printing the money anymore like they had in the past. It's crazy controlled now, and they're about to lose that benefit altogether. That's about to go back to the Treasury itself. And if you guys are out here rooting for small government, by 2030, you're going to see it.
Oh. Okay, well, listen, thank you so much for the clarification. As always, I'm here to help out, and, our friend Sean, and, of course, our other friend Clayton, we're also here to, collaborate and work. So thank you so much. I'll go ahead and yield for the call.
Yeah, Thomas, I'll stay in touch, buddy.
Thank you very much. All right, we go to 612 area code. Go ahead.
Hi. I had 2 quick questions. The first one, you can hear me, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay, good. Sorry. Okay, 2 quick questions, or a 2-part question. The first one is, my friend spent about 5 hours trying everything she could think of to get a hold of a live person at the IRS to be able to check on the status of some files, some 1099-As that were filed on her behalf. And it just seems to be absolutely impossible. You just get to a voicemail, and then the voicemail says, "I'm not answering questions right now. Please refer to the IRS website." So we're just wondering if you have any ideas of who else to try and who else to call when we need to check on the status of these 1099-As, if there's anybody that would actually tell us anything.
Okay, what that first question is, a lot of those people aren't even there. They're not even there to answer the phone. A lot of people are working out of their homes. And still, even though the pandemic's far from over, it's been over for months now,
Right.
according to Biden, the people in the Treasury and the people in the Social Security office, they're all working from home still. Or by appointment, come in by appointment only. The Treasury, you hear stuff about, the IRS is backed way up. They're working at home. Most of them are working at home. And I don't know about y'all about working at home or not, but, most people that work at home aren't as productive, I don't think. When you let your employees pick and choose when they want to work. When I was talking with the tax advocacy group lady, she was working out of her home. I'm going to call you on Friday. I would get a call Sunday night, 7 o'clock. Are you kidding me? I don't ever remember growing up in a world where government employees were working on Saturday and Sunday. That's where our society's got to. It's hard. It's hard to get anything out of that bunch, other than having a direct number into somebody. You're probably going to have a hard time. Your best bet would be to try and get an email in to Fiscal Services or the Attorney General, Inspector General of the Treasury. Get one in there. I don't know who else to talk to. Who's working down there? I need to report this to the, I need to speak with somebody at the Treasury, and nobody seems to be answering phones down there. You need to look into that and have these people call me. Most of the time you can type up a short message and send it in to the Inspector General's office, and you're probably going to get an email within 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay.
But they'll be more likely to do that than to answer the phone.
That's a great idea. Okay, my other question was, do you have any more intel on the restructuring going on right now, since the IRS is not hiring the 80,000 people, and they didn't process any 1099-As all last year, according to the intel that the Jarrett's got? Do you have any intel if they're waiting like you thought for those 24 people? Are they planning, do you think, on having them start doing 1099-As as soon as they're trained in by you, or do you have any information for us on when things will start moving?
I think that's quite possible. They may be the ones that take over for the Jarretts. They may contact the Jarretts and say, look, we got this, and work with the Jarretts to get those things taken care of. They're the financial institution that don't know. The Jarretts may even be one of the 24.
That's a good thought.
You started this, and you got these Jarretts involved in this, and they've done freaking 3,000 trustee processes. Now you're going to train them. They could be very easily be, and they may do both of them. They may do Drew and Tara. They may be the 21st, 24 that goes through. We need to get these people taking care of their beneficiaries. And believe me, if I see their name on the list, I will call them right away. They'll probably be my first POCs on the list. Because
I'm a little confused on how that works. I'm a little confused on if somebody previously filed to someone without that. Let's say their trustee sent in the 1099-As for them sometime in 2022, and they don't have so their trustee is just somebody that's
someone that's the trustee, that's a professional trustee and helps people, but they're not as well known as the Jarrett, so they don't get asked to be a private bank. How do their trustees that are already at the Treasury, already been sent to the Treasury? I thought
they're
that
probably going to work off the ones that the most. You know what I'm saying? They're probably going to work off the larger groups, the larger, trustees first. I can only naturally assume that that's the smart way to do it. The other way would be for like little trustees, right? So say that the Jarretts and the Stillmans and the Rathbones are big trustees. We got a bunch of them. Well, there's a bunch of little folks out there doing the same thing. We talked to somebody just recently. We had 40, right? When I get this up and I start training these folks, those folks may be contacting the smaller bunch or the second group, the second class that I train.
Oh, that would be wonderful. That would be wonderful.
The Treasury might send, because see, you got trustees out there that don't have any contracts with the Treasury. They can't be banks because they don't have anything to back up that part.
That's what I was wondering. Like, how is that working? If you're going
to institutions,
right?
That's what I'm saying.
So they got two trustees involved in that transaction.
Yeah, the Treasury may say, Mr. Hauser, here's a list of 100 trustees that are doing small batches. We need you to dole these out to your second class of folks. And the trustees that don't have banks will be connected with trustees that do. And then they can work to help those trustees take care of their clients or members or...
Okay, so they'll work it out. Yeah, because I was like, you're going to be the trustee. So if a trustee hands you a 1099-A, then they get cut out of their trustee donations unless there's something figured out there between everything. So it's just a little confused on the flow of how that
that's the
would
thing
work.
About it. The Jarretts are as the norm. The Jarretts are entitled to 6% of whatever it is they're doing for their beneficiaries. Well, now, if I jump in there and I become a trustee with underling trustees, I can also get your trust for 6%.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And then you did the 1099As, and the Treasury is the lender, so they're trustees. The Treasury gets their share. They get their 6%. Actually, they'll probably get a little bit more. But what do you care? Because you're never going to see it.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. I'm just wondering, like, on the 1099As are made out for a specific amount of money ahead of time.
They'll tap the trust anyway, like they're doing anyway. The banks do that anyway. You go and get a loan from the bank.
So just tap in a little extra.
And the bank is, yeah, the bank's going to be like, let's do the 1099A. Okay, now we're entitled to. All they got to do is do all the trustee would have to do would be do an amendment to the 1099A. You've already given them permission to do it.
Or whatever. Yeah, we'll figure it all out. Yeah, that's great. Well, thank you. I was just kind of wondering.
Yeah.
You go.
Yeah, I got it.
What were you saying?
It's all going to work out. It is. And the sooner we can roll with this, I don't plan on doing too many loans, folks. I plan on doing loans to the first class of bankers that come through. I want to get them loans. Actually, my second class. Their class, I'll leave it up to them. But the second class of bankers going in, I want to get them loans. Because I don't want bankers in here worried about their bills. I want you to concentrate 100% of your time 16 hours a day learning this stuff so you can do it fast. The faster we can get people set up, the more people we can take care of. The more money we make, the more money the Treasury makes. That's why this isn't a big deal with shutting down the IRS. There's other babies about to be born, y'all.
All right, so does that answer
Sounds
your question?
great. Thank you.
All right,
Yep, thank you so much.
Okay, 808 area code, go ahead. 808, go ahead.
Aloha, Todd. Chris?
Yes, go ahead.
Aloha.
Okay. So, I had a couple of questions for you. This is my first time hearing about the 8281. So, on that one, you were just explaining how to fill it out. Do we have to fill out box 15 as well?
Box 15. 14 you can put the description in.
Mm-hmm.
You said 15. Attached schedule OID per 1,000. Yeah, well, that you're going to. I don't have my glasses working just right, but attach a schedule OID per 1,000 principal amount of the life of the instrument. If the principal amount is other than $1,000 indicated the actual OID for principal amount per year, the schedule must be based on a 6-month accrual period. It must show a daily portion of OID for each accrual period and the total OID for each calendar year for additional requirements to the instruction. No.
Okay. All right,
no,
great.
Because
so we'll just
that's pertaining to something that would have to do with the QSIP.
Part 2.
Okay. Yeah, it's part of part 2.
Okay.
It's
great.
not necessary. Yeah, it's not necessary.
And
that would
I would
be
have
for
to
like
send
bonds or annuities or something like that.
Got it. Okay. Just double checking on that. So I would have to send this as an amendment, and I would have to send one envelope for each one, right? Because I did a few.
You're going to have, okay, if you are the trustee and you're doing this for 10 different people, you're going to have to do 10 8281s. Okay? Because you got 10 trusts that you're working on with 10 trust numbers. But you only need one cover letter. It might be a long one because you got 10. If you're doing 10 of them, it might be a long one because you got to specifically address each one of those 8281 and the contract number and the trust number that it's going to. They'll get it and they'll attach the two. They'll send them to the ones that they go to. They'll actually go look them up.
Okay,
or they've already got it set up. Now they can already have it set up in a digital form. So where all they got to do is scan it in and send it digitally to one it belongs to.
That's awesome. So I'm just going to send those in like tomorrow. Okay. Thank you. And
thank you.
Also, sorry, real quick. I'm also working on a conditional acceptance for traffic violations for the trust. Am I allowed to use my driver's license rather than the Social Security number since it's tied to the trust and the Social Security number?
You're using the driver's license number for what?
Instead of including my
Social Security number?
Yeah.
You don't have to use the driver's license at all. It's already on the Exhibit A if you've got a ticket, right?
Yeah.
Okay, your ticket would be Exhibit A. So the driver's license number is already on there, but this is a trust action. So you want to use the trust number. You want to use the Social Security number.
Okay.
But
Great.
there's very few places it's actually used at. It will be on the back when you monetize it. But you can do that after you send it out. You only monetize the one copy you're sending to the Treasury. But
Right.
even though they've already got the cops, the chief of police, the judge, they already got your Social Security number anyway. So as far as having it on there and using it for, they're going to steal my identity. In my case, I had 11 different individuals who already had the number, the 12th one being my ex-wife, and I'm sure she had my number somewhere too because we filed taxes. So I had her Social Security number.
Okay, so no need to worry about including that.
Yeah, the driver's license already on. If it's a driving conditional acceptance, Exhibit A is generally the ticket. That's the first step in the trust action. You'll use citation number in your conditional acceptance. That's generally on within the first two pages. When you look at the best one to go by for that is the Ronald James Lyons.
Yeah, I really like that one.
That's got all kinds. That's all about traffic right there. And that's probably the easiest one to shadow. Anyway.
I agreed. My last question is, I'm not on any sort of Social Security disability. I don't know anything about the forms, but I know a few people that are having trouble with their already established disability accounts with Social Security. Is there, how can they go about changing their paperwork? Is there a specific form that I can help them to, get more money out of or get the maximum that they're supposed to get as beneficiaries?
Well, it would depend if they're on SSDI. If they're on the supplemental, because they didn't work enough to make the credits to get Social Security disability, and they're on SSI instead. That's a set amount, and it doesn't matter. I think it's $830 a month. It doesn't matter. It may be you may get more for it if you're living in a state where the cost of living is higher. But that's a set amount. If your friends on Social Security have had good paying jobs and paid a lot into it, then that can be. And I'm not so sure that you couldn't, with SSI, you couldn't go in and ask for more. The whole thing about getting more, there's a couple of approaches that you can take with that. One is going to the Social Security office. I want to speak with the supervisor, and then get the supervisor back and go, look, I'm the beneficiary of the trust. It's in the trust's best interest that I receive more because this money isn't enough to live on. How am I supposed to live on this? I'm eating cat food.
Right.
Okay? You go in there and tell them stuff like that, and I can't afford that. I can't afford the medication and food. I'm eating cat food. You tell them stuff like that, and there's a little wiggle room. And then if you're going in Social Security and you're on disability and you're young, a lot of times they like to review it every 3 years. And then they'll tell you something like, it appears your condition's improved. That's what happened to me when back in the 90s when I fell and shattered my ankle. From 93 to 96, I was getting disability, and they just sent me a letter one day. It appears your condition's improved. We're taking your money. But I wasn't smart enough to know that I could have went and appealed that. I was at a point in my life where I was, separated from my wife for about 4 months, and I was just so tired of it. I was like, frig it, I'm just going to go to work. So I let it go. But they'll review it unless they say you're permanently disabled. Once you're permanently disabled, they won't even go back and look and see if they can take it from you. If by chance 3 years is up and they want to take it from you, then you review. You go to a review, and you appeal it. You'll go back into the appellate part of the Social Security process, and when you do that, then you're in there. I got some questions. What's Social Security? Well, it's a trust fund. Okay, who's the beneficiary? Well, you are. Then you guys are all trustees with fiduciary obligations. Do what's best for the trust. You can say the same thing. Say you're getting disability and it's just not enough. 8.7% or 7.8% increase that everybody got January. If you went in there and said, look, man, they gave us this increase, but then they increased everything else. Eggs are $6 a freaking dozen. What good is getting a raise whenever they raise the price of everything else? I'm still living in poverty, and I need more. And it's in the best interest of the beneficiary to eat better, In a lot of cases, the supervisor can review your case and write a suggestion that they increase you by whatever percent, and you get more that way.
All right, so does that answer your question?
It does. Thank you so much for
both
of your time.
Okay, 828 area code. Go ahead.
Yes, I have a question about on one of your videos, you mentioned that you can't use a post office box address as an address on the form.
Yeah. No, you can't.
So I use a mail. It's not an official like PO box at a post office, but it's a mail service.
I don't know about that. I think I know what you're talking about. UPS doesn't, and it's really big. A lot of the people that are nomads, living in
exactly,
traveling around. They get their mail sent to South Dakota, and
that's what I do. I have a mailbox in South Dakota.
Yeah, because the cost of living there is, well, a lot of people do it because they get their benefits out of, like, say, California, where you get a lot more in EBT than you would in South Dakota. So if you have an address in California, but you use your mailing address as the box in South Dakota, then you can stay in Alabama. You know what I mean? And you're getting a lot more dollars on EBT. I'm just using that for an example. That's why a lot of people do that. If it's not, you're not supposed to use a post office box. There has to be a physical address so they can count that. So I don't know exactly how that would work. But
they are able to put the address. They are able to put the address on a driver's license. Like I have a South Dakota driver's license with the address of the mail service.
That would probably work. That would probably work. If they'll take it and put it on a driver's license, it would only seem natural that they could use it like that too.
Right. Okay, and then I just have one other question. Cool. Yeah, I just have one other question pertaining to 1099A. I've been kind of just brainstorming, and I was wondering if it would work to use a situation where, like, you have an employer that has a client list, you know, for like construction jobs or window cleaning or something like that. And if basically as an employee, I was to use the 1099A as if I'm basically like renting or buying the client list from the employer.
I wouldn't be 100% sure about that, but that is delving into the area of business.
Right.
When you do stuff like that, I don't normally suggest trying anything like that when it has to do with your business. As far as I'm assuming, there's a client list that of folks that you'd like to say, old dude's getting too old, and you know, and he wants to just retire or whatever. He's got a list of clients. Hey man, give me, you know, X amount of dollars and I'll give you this list, and you can contact them and say, hey man, you know, dude's retiring, and you know, he feels that I'm good enough to do the job, and it's suggesting that you know, you may want to give me a try cleaning your windows or whatever. You know, that would seem. You could probably work it out. I don't know how much the guy that's got the client list, or the gal that's got the client list, wants to work this around, but I'm sure that you could, if you think about it enough, you know. My rapper friends, my young rapper friends, you know, they used 1099A as an accident, in an accident setting, and got $80,000. And then they both, one was the rapper, and the other one lays down the beat. So, and now they've got 3 records out. I sent them to I hooked them up with Wacko, and he passed them along, got them started. So, and see, that's what I'm saying. They needed $80,000 for their business. Well, let's try getting the money 1099A this way. You know, don't get caught. Yeah, don't get caught. I'm not telling y'all what to do, but have you thought about doing it this way? You know, and it worked for them. That was right at the beginning. That was like November of 2021. You know, I got with these guys at the beginning, and they shot it in there, and in about 3 months they had the money, and they were in the studio. So it worked for them. I don't know. You have to think about what you want to do. If you don't mind being a little sneaky, you probably could figure out a way to come up with that, working with the guy, to do that. Give him more for it than what he's asking, if he's willing to go that way with you.
All right, so does that answer your question?
It does. Yeah, thank you all very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, 707 area code. Go ahead.
Is this the 707 one?
Go ahead.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry. I didn't hear you say the area code. I'm sorry. Okay. Some of my questions are recaps of what the conversations have already been, so they're going to be fairly quick. So, first of all, on the Form 8281 that you were discussing, I heard you say the contract number. What is the contract number? Is that the EIN?
No, it would depend. If you have a house and you're paying off the mortgage, the mortgage, there's contract number.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
If you had a car,
so it would be the loan number,
the contract number. If you were buying a car, you'd use a purchase order number. If you are amending, if you're taking the 8281 and you're amending to something that you've already filed, the contract number would be the certified mail, the 20-digit certified mail number that went with the original filing.
Okay. Now, and that's the scenario. I've already filed everything. So if we do certified mail number, then we don't, and we send it certified mail, then do we not put the new certified mail number on there, just put the old one on? Because I don't want to confuse them with two certified mail numbers.
No, when you write the cover letter that's going to accompany the 8281, you're going to put the contract number
in the letter.
Remember, you've already sent them a contract through the postal rule when you sent the original filing.
Okay, got it.
Right? So that's actually going to be the contract number on the cover letter that you're going to send that's going to accompany the 8281. The second, when you send those, you're going to send them certified mail. They won't need to know the number. It's already on it.
Okay, got it. All right, next question really quick is I want a little bit of clarification on time frame for your bank. I've got written down, I'm taking notes. You're guesstimating 7 weeks, but
it's going to take 7 weeks to get the first class in.
Well,
after that,
is that including? And you said 3 weeks is to do your paperwork for your court thing. Is that included? That's included in the 7 weeks.
It's going to be 3 weeks to do the filing into the docket with the IRS case. After that, there's going to be 7 weeks, so that's 10 weeks.
Oh, okay, so 10 weeks total.
After those 10 weeks are up, the IRS case will be over.
Okay.
I may even be able to start actually banking myself before I even start the second class. I'm hoping that I am because I want those people to be set. That first class of people that I'm going to select is going to be people, most of them are going to be bankers, and they're going to be in the 9 or 12 or 9 or actually probably 9, 11, or 13 members of the committee, the foundations. They're going to be basically the CEOs of the foundation, more or less. I want those people to be set. I don't want them to have to worry about their bills. I want them to. Yeah. I want them to I want Grubhub dinging on their door 2 times a day. I don't even want them cooking. I want them to concentrate on learning this process as swiftly as possible. And this is going to be basic. These bankers are going to be basic. Their learning is just going to begin in the class. There's going to be a lot of continued education because they're only learning the basic aspects of being a bank. There's a lot of intricacy to this, what we're doing, because there's a lot of things that you're going to be able to do besides make loans for people. We're actually, it may be down the road, but we're actually going to, there's a process. I've been told to hold my horses on it, but there's a process that's going to go down. It may not be for another year, but we're going to hit the birth certificate. We're going to be monetizing the birth certificate. But even if you don't have a contract with the Treasury, and even if you're not going to be a bank, we may be hitting the birth certificate, teaching you how to hit it. Yeah.
No, I understand, and that all makes total sense. So, I just I'm the same lady that called in about 3 weeks ago, about I'm getting close to foreclosure, and you said that when you were able to do the loans for me to email you, and you were going to put a star by my name. I emailed you twice, I think, as a reminder, but I'm sure you have a zillion emails.
I think I did. No, I think I do. I think I remember that.
Yeah, my name is Sharon.
I think I remember. Yeah, I did.
Okay,
yeah,
so
when I got a whole list of folks that are starred and in dire straits like yourself. I don't want people to lose their homes because of this.
Well, mine isn't only my home. Mine is our farm. It's also whatever income I have. It's also my job, and I want to be able to leave this to my son. So it's not just a house. Yeah. But when you said the first batch, you were going to do the loans to the bankers or the people in your class. So where does that put the people in the group with the stars? Are they included in that, or do they have to wait for the second batch?
Yeah. I'm not going to be able to bank until after the actually do loans for folks until after April the 6th.
April what?
That'll be the soonest. April the 6th. That'll be the soonest anybody else. And when it happens, it's only going to take about a week, maybe even less than that. So yeah, I've got you. I'm not just going to get the selected people. I want them done first because I want them to not have to worry about I want them to be able to quit their job. If they're working a job, I want you to quit your job. That's
and have the banking be their job.
Yeah, because the banking is going to be.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get it.
And I don't want them worried about how they're going to feed the children or their wife. I don't want their wife nagging or their husband nagging on them for them quitting their job because they're trying to learn something over 5 weeks. No, I want their husband going, damn, you just brought $2 million into the house. Yeah, you can quit your job. As a matter of fact, I'm going to quit my job and I'll take care of the kids while you do this thing. That's why that's important to me. But
I
don't want to neglect people like yourself who, have possibly had the farm in your family for 5 generations, and you're about to lose it. That's important too, as well as people that are homeless living on the street.
Absolutely.
I may even link those people up. I might not even give you the loan. I might set one of the first 24 people that come out of this banking thing on you. Hey, here's this lady's email. Get on her. Get her hooked up with what it is she needs, because it might be faster I'm probably going to have that all done. I might be banking.
So that would be before the April 6th then, if you went that route?
Yeah, that'll be as soon as, because I got to thinking that they're not even going to be through the class before I start banking. If it's April the 6th, yeah.
So you're going to start banking on April 6th?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, I will be capable to do that at that point, April the 6th.
Got it.
I have to get through this, and I have to get that judgment. I have to have that judge saying, yeah, you're right, it's not a frivolous filing. Mr. Hauser, have a nice day. Before I can do it, because as soon as that's over, the Treasury's going, okay, it's not a frivolous filing. If Tennessee hasn't got their head out of their butt by that time, I'm going to be able to go down there and say, look, the Treasury's on my side, the IRS is on my side, and the federal courts, so the bankruptcy's on my side. Do you think you might want to consider overturning the bullshit you pulled on me? Yeah.
So we're not sure if this is absolutely going to happen then, because we have to wait for the courts.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to be free to access, or actually not access the money, but use it as my bank until this is cleared up. They're supposed to make a decision on it. I mean, the day they hear it. So, and
what happens if they rule against you?
I can't straight come out and say that I'm going to win. But from what I understand, the judge is already going to be leaning my way. So, and I haven't even submitted the argument. I could potentially submit the argument, and the IRS turn around, take one look at it, and say, we can't even argue this, and drop it themselves, which means I'd be at it even sooner than that. You know, I could potentially have this case. I don't think it's going. I think it's actually going to go to a hearing because of the damage that it's going to cause to the IRS, not whether or not my bank's up. I think the real reason why the Treasury wants this to go all the way is because they want to shut them down. They want to shut them down. They've created a monster, kind of like they created the Federal Reserve. They created monsters that they can't control. I think that's part of the problem. So now they want to try and kill it.
Well, worst case scenario, if it doesn't pass, then what happens to all the thousands of people that have put in their 1099As? What's going to happen to those?
I'm not certain. I can't say for certain. I can't say for. I wish I had an answer for you, but I can't say for certain. But quit thinking negative. Quit bumming me out, man. I'm trying to keep.
Well, you know, I got to look at all aspects here, you know, because
I hear you, man. I hear you.
I gotta look at all aspects here because you know it's my life is on the line here, so I gotta.
Oh man.
I've learned the hard way many lessons.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
I have one last question.
We have some more people waiting.
Just one more quick question. That is on the 8281. I've got notes down here about everything. Fill out for line 14. After line 14, I heard some lady ask about a line 16, but I didn't catch 15, what the answer was.
That's 15. Leave it blank.
Oh, so after 14, we don't fill out anything else, right?
Well, the signature. There's a signature line down there at the bottom. You want to make sure you sign that. And you're a trustee, but you're also the beneficiary of the check. So you might want to sign that with the beneficiary signature. Okay?
You don't want the trustee to sign it?
The trustee signs it, but the trustee is the beneficiary.
So I would sign it.
If you're the trustee, you would.
Well, I'm not.
But
my
you'll
son
sign
is.
it beneficiary. Whoever your trustee is signs that 8281, and they sign it with the beneficiary signature because they're the ones who are benefiting the check. Okay?
Okay, so my son is my trustee, so he would sign it, and then he would sign my name as beneficiary?
No. That 8281 pertains to two positions. One is the trust position, right? The trust name and the trust account number, the Social Security number, and the address used, all caps. You're going to put the all caps name.
Right, got that written down.
The very first name is going to be all in all caps. No hyphens or colons, in all caps. And then the 3A will be the trustee. The trustee is going to sign. Your son, if your son's a trustee, your son's going to sign at the bottom of that form, and he's going to sign it with his beneficiary signature.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
And hopefully by doing this, this is the thing that springs everybody out. You may not be calling me in April or sending me an email, hey, I need that loan. This thing may go through on you by doing the 8281. It may be the thing that frees the Jarretts up, that's got them stopped up. I don't know. All I know is in the UCC in 2018 said that form has to go with every OID. Okay.
Well,
we didn't have to
if we were supposed to do that, how come they don't send you a letter saying we need that form?
How come they haven't sent you one? I don't know. Maybe because they think it's not their responsibility to do that. I don't know. That's not a question I can answer. All I know is, according to the UCC, that 8281 has to accompany every OID.
Okay.
That's my bad. I'll take the blame for that one because we weren't filing the 8281s. We didn't have to. That didn't go into effect until 2018. So send it off, and maybe that'll be the answer to your prayer.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right. 574 area code 574. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead. We heard you. Undo your
574.
Yeah. Hold on.
Okay.
Yes.
Am
go
I on?
ahead. Yes.
Okay. Hi. This is
you're on.
TJ. You guys are amazing. You remind me of Moses and Aaron getting God's people out of the slavery into the promised land. My question is a friend of mine is really hurting with the foreclosure, and I was wondering, could I pay him $21 in silver and then take that quick deed and get the unbroken chain of title and put a land patent on it?
Yeah.
Okay. And then can I send
anything you can do, anything you all can do to confuse a foreclosure, man, is work. Do UCC 1 lien. Do the land patent. Have them sell it to you.
Have them make it a Lloydal and stuff,
see,
and that makes it untouchable for them.
Yeah. Because see, in a foreclosure, they're illegal. They're foreclosing on a debt that isn't even owed.
And the promissory note is not attached with the original mortgage and stuff. The promissory
and
note
I highly doubt they even got a contract with a wet signature on it.
Exactly, and they don't.
Public Law 73-10 says all debts, public and private, are paid for.
And
if
so
that's the case, how do I owe you that you can foreclose on me?
Well, that would be, I was going to have them send an acceptance right off the bat and then do a quick claim deed with him, then file it in my name, bring up the land patent, and put an unbroken chain of title with that and make it mine.
Yeah. Yeah, do the conditional acceptance on the mortgage company because you're getting them the contract, and as soon as that gets served, do the deal with the land. Have them sell the bill of sale.
So,
Get it out of their
now,
hands.
Does he have to be a secured person also, or?
No, look, you guys are already secured parties. I don't care if you've not done any of this stuff. You're a secured party strictly because you back the dollar. You back the dollar.
Right.
A secured party creditor is a little different.
But as long as I was thinking, if we file a live life claim for him, proving that he's flesh and blood and has the right to contract, at that point we can contract and be clear of anything.
Yes, you could. anything to stifle what they're doing.
Okay, and what they're doing is wrong. What they're doing is wrong. So, and my second question is, I saw somebody had a promissory note, and then they put the number off the back of the Social Security card on the note and called it a preferred stock. Does that sound weird to you? Or is that
what?
Preferred stock?
If they are using the number on the back of the Social Security card is a serial number, just like on the dollar, one letter and 8 digits.
Right.
Okay. If they are the beneficiary and they're doing anything with that, they're backing up. You can't do that. You're acting as a pseudo trustee when you do things like that.
Okay, like I said, I just saw the thing and kind of
like
separated. No, but would you use it as a promissory note with that number on the back on it?
I sure wouldn't.
Okay, where's the best?
I sure wouldn't.
You answered.
Not without first capturing that Social Security card is on bond paper. That's a bond.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I
don't have. Yeah, you don't have the right. You don't, as the beneficiary, you don't have the right to do things like that, or at least you're acting as a pseudo trustee when you do that. That's,
okay. Where's the best source? Where's the best source of information by going to the Social Security office? Because you answered my question tonight earlier when you said I turned 65. So now I'm going to send a letter to them using the information you gave me.
If you send a letter, you're better off doing that in person. If you're 65,
really?
let me ask you this. You're 65, right?
Yes.
65. How long have you been 65?
November 11th.
Okay. Have you put your Social Security number on anything since then?
Okay, do what?
Have you put the Social Security number on anything?
Like what?
Signed it. Like
what?
Any contract or motor? You went to the motor vehicle. You got your driver's license renewed, or have you used the Social Security number since you turned 65?
Oh, since I turned 65?
Yeah.
Let me think. Oh my goodness, that's possible. Did I mess up?
Yeah. Because once you turn, that's why I tell everybody, if you're going to do this on your birthday, first thing in the morning. Don't go in and put your Social Security number in the kiosk, because the first time you use that trust number after you turned, you're recontracting. You're acting as a beneficiary.
Can I revoke that? Can I revoke my signature?
I'm not so sure. They keep track of this every time you do. When I talk to the VA, and the nurse says, "What's your last name?" and I tell her Hauser, and she says, "What's your last four?" and I tell her the last four. That's a trust action being initiated.
Okay.
And it's on the phone. I don't even have to write it down on something and sign it. I'm activating the trust by giving the trustee the number. She goes, "Oh, okay, I see it right here." She doesn't get all the rest of the numbers. She just gets the last four, so she knows she's talking to me. Sometimes they'll say, "Well, when was your birthday? What branch of service was you in?" They ask those questions so that they can pinpoint, okay, I'm actually talking to the veteran. But they're using the trust. They're going to say, they're going to use that to get paid.
Right.
Every time my trust is accessed through the VA, there's some kind of withdrawal happening. I go to the emergency room. That's not free. Mr. Hauser, what's your last four? Well, it's blah, blah, blah. Okay, I see it right here. Let's make you a little tag to put on your, little bracelet to put on your arm. We'll get you right back in triage, and we'll figure out what's wrong with you. They're going to hit my trust for an ER visit. That's how they get paid.
Now, what happens when I re-sign up that contract by doing that? Am I no longer secured?
Like when you go down to, say you turn 65, you go down to the Social Security office and you say, well, I'm 65. I'm here to get my, my pension, my Social Security, Well, put your number right there in the kiosk, and you put the number in. You're activating it. You go up to the counter, and the lady, oh, yeah, it's my birthday. I'm 65. Well, sit on down here. Let's get you signed up for benefits. And then you sign that. Okay, we got you in here. It's retired. We're going to, Medicare is going to be contacting you real soon to get you set up so you can get your insurance. What you're doing is you're recontracting for them.
So you're saying I shouldn't have signed up for Medicare insurance either? Are you saying I shouldn't have signed up for we shouldn't sign up for Medicare A or B? Also, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because you sign up. Medicare goes, what's your Social Security number, sir? And you give it to them. Bam, there's trust action. When you use that number after you turn 65, you recontract until you're dead.
Okay.
Best thing to do once you've done that is go ahead and ride it out. Use it.
Okay, use what?
Use
the Medicare and trust.
Yeah,
okay.
Use the hound out of it. Go get the Part D and I'm on disability, so I get all that.
Okay.
I get Medicare and A and B and D and then once I got that, I told my wife, I said, I'm gonna try and go down here and get on Medicaid. And I went down there to the Department of Human Services and I said, look, I'm disabled veteran, and now I'm, permanently disabled, on Social Security. I got 2 minor children. Well, come right in here, sir. Let's get you signed up on Medicaid. I'll tell you what, bro, I don't pay nothing. $3,500 a year in dental work. One pair of glasses every year, 2 eye exams. My medication. They've given me pain medication. I didn't pay. I went down and got, the dentist pulled them teeth and sent me a prescription in for 20 hydrocodone 7.5. I went down there and I showed the lady, I said, how much is the prescription? She said, I don't know, let me run it. She ran it. You know what my prescription was? 8 cents. That's the most I paid since I got signed up. 8 cents.
No, you're still using the Cestui. You're still using a trust, though.
Yeah.
Right? You're still accessing the trust.
I know. Yeah. And what I would suggest is seeing how you can't do this because you turn 65 and you're recontracting. Go ahead and milk the trust for what you can.
I'm going to revoke my signature and stuff. I'm going to take everything back. I'll just send them. I was going to send a letter with that, but I was afraid I was affecting the other way.
Yeah, you can try that. Yeah, you can try it, see if it works. And then if it doesn't, you can just go re-sign up for it. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm good. You're saying basically, I sent a W-8-BEN letting them know that I was no longer a taxpayer. And I don't think I had to put, did I put my Social Security number on that or not?
I never do. And I tell people, there's been a few people that have. I mean, if you're saying you're not a United States citizen and you're tax exempt.
I said that as a non-U.S. citizen. Now, what is the correct terminology? Am I a state national? Am I a non-U.S. citizen national?
You can say you're a state national, or you can say you're an American national.
Okay.
If you're not a United States citizen, I prefer I'm a citizen of the Kingdom of Heaven. I'm not an American national or a state. A citizen of the Kingdom of Heaven.
Amen. Yes. Yes.
You
can't
I
understand that more fully. No. But there's something saying
you got to look at it. You got to look at it. The states, people look at most people in the United States look at the United States, and they see states inside of a country.
Right.
We're the only nation. Yeah, we're the only nation that sees that. I mean, when you go to Europe, is all under the Union now, right?
Okay.
But they don't consider themselves. German doesn't consider themselves a European citizen. Someone from France is they don't consider themselves. Well, I'm EU. All those countries in Europe are countries.
Right.
They just happen to they just happen to accept the Union. That's what we are. Tennessee is.
But are we sovereign? Are you sovereign as a Tennessee national?
I'm not a Tennessee national. I'm a sovereign because I am son of the Most High.
Exactly. If
I'm an heir to the Kingdom of Heaven, then I am sovereign. And I'm not sovereign because I live in Tennessee or I'm on the American continent. I'm sovereign because I'm son of the Most High. I'm an heir to the throne. I'm an heir to the Kingdom of Heaven. That's what makes us sovereign.
But that doesn't make you liable for being a man without a country, correct? If you're sovereign.
Well, I am a country. I'm not a man without a country. I have a country. It's called the Kingdom of Heaven.
Are you loyal?
Or Yeshua said, my kingdom's not of this world. Right? He didn't say I'm not a part of the kingdom. He said my kingdom's not of this world. Mine isn't either. I'm a sojourner on the land. I just travel to and fro. I stay where I want.
And he made us in his image.
All right, so we do have some other people waiting.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys.
All
you guys
right,
are amazing.
You.
All
right, man. Have a good night, brother.
205 area code. Go ahead.
Hi. We purchased a taxable forfeiture property in Jefferson County, Birmingham, city of Birmingham, and we had some obfuscation with the public tax records in 2019. I wrote the county commissioner and the ethics officer, corrected the tax records 2022 this time last year, and we have discovered that the deputy tax assessor did in fact introduce fraudulent documents that allowed a civil court litigation that has been going on since 2019. I've written to HR in Jefferson County asking that this deputy be terminated, and of course this person is still working. We have filed 2 police reports, one when our mailing address was changed in 2019, and again last year this time we filed an actual criminal complaint, public corruption, elder abuse, and criminal fraud. We have never gotten a response back from the Birmingham police, and then the more recent letter to HR, this person is continuing in their deputy tax assessor's position. Where do we need to go to get some legal satisfaction and criminal charges pressed against the people that are involved in this?
Probably the feds. when you exhaust if you're playing that game, you can go through filing all this stuff. When you exhaust it at the county level, you go to the state level. At the state level, you go to the federal. Usually, the feds won't even look at it till you've exhausted at the state level.
Mm-hmm.
But the corruption's everywhere, man. It's crazy. Doesn't matter where you go. I've heard people say here in this county, the corruption's. Oh, well, you don't know. The corruption's real bad here in this. Yeah, I do know about some corruption. I lived in Chicago for 12 years. And it's like that everywhere you go. I don't know if Birmingham do they have chancellery courts?
I'm not sure.
I know Tennessee does. I would look and see if you can get it in a chancellery court. That would handle the equitable side of your situation. And if you can win equitable, then you can go to the feds. If you can't win equitable, then I'd go to the feds. I'd say, look, I've exhausted all this stuff. You go down and you do a police report against cops, and nothing ever gets done about it. They don't even contact you.
Right.
That's corruption.
Right, exactly. That's what we're experiencing.
We'll just misplace this evidence right here because it involved the mayor's son. Well, we don't know where that evidence went to in the evidence room. Yeah, you do. You're corrupt. That's a problem.
Super huge problem.
Yeah, I would imagine that's been 2019. It's probably been stressful dealing with that.
And we've stalemated them in civil court. And our last brief that the attorney submitted was not responded to because it exposes all the levels of deception. And we're like, where do we go now? Although the tax records are showing favorable, on our side at this point, we've finally been able to, secure homeowners insurance and some decent insurance rates here. However, there's still these villains running around, going to work every day like they're not injuring people.
Yeah. Yeah, I would definitely get the property off of their books.
And that would be a chancellery court that we need to look into?
No, chancellery court you can take your equitable complaints to.
Okay.
But as far as getting it out of you don't want a tax assessor around? Take it out of the county. I'm about to do the same thing with another friend of mine of 110 acres. Sell me 110. It's probably $450,000 worth of land. He's going to sell it to me for $21 gold, $40 gold, $220. And I'm going to sell it back to him. The building that started the original video there that I'd purchased from the guy. He went down and told them at the tax office. He got the bill. He went down and told them at the tax office, I don't own this. See, here's the contract. They said, well, you need to tell this other guy you sold it to come down and, come down with the deed and register a deed. He said, I'll tell him, but I doubt he's going to do it. I'm not giving my property to anybody. I'm about to, as soon as he gets, another month or two goes by, I will sell him back that building. We'll do another contract, and I'll sell it back to him for two $20 gold pieces. Now, he doesn't have to tell the county anything about buying it back. He doesn't have to do that. I took it out, and by giving it to him and him not going back to register it, he's took it out. That's what I would suggest. If you guys got property and you're tired of pissing around with the county and paying them money they don't deserve, then I would suggest find somebody you trust and sell them that land in a constitutional contract using constitutional money. Let it wait for a year, take the tax bill down and show them that you don't owe it anymore. I don't own this property anymore. You cannot tax me this tax. That's what he told her. Told the lady down there, he said, I don't own this. I said, why are you sending me this bill? I don't own it. Well, our records indicate that you do. Well, here's a record you can put in your files indicating that you don't. I don't own this. Don't send me any more freaking tax bills. He said he's going to wait and see what happens, because February the 28th is the deadline for paying the taxes for the year. He said, let's see what happens in April. If I don't hear from him by April, we'll do a contract and settle that. So that's what I would suggest y'all do if you don't want to dick around with the county.
All right, so is that
it?
Okay.
It gives me some room to do some reading and make another plan to get around some problems.
Look into the chancellery. Look into the chancellery court. If that doesn't work, go to the Fed. If you want to play the court game.
Thank you.
Right, you're welcome.
Thank you. Chris, how you feeling?
I'm about ready.
Okay. All right. So everybody, thank you for joining us. Please consider supporting us by joining the website youhavetheright.com. We have a lot of these calls broken down by subject to make it easier for you, and it helps me out as well. And join our mailing list for sure, and share it, let other people join. So until next week, you guys, thank you very much, and you have a good night.